Your secret identity has been found out by the villain. Instead of using it against you, the villain goes to your hero association and files a case against them for child endangerment due to the fact that you are 12. Wastelander froze, hearing a tapping at his window. The villain carefully stepping towards the window of his garage, peering outside, seeing the formidable hero hovering outside. There they were, a 7-foot monster of a human, hidden beneath a carefully augmented suit. He had spent sleepless nights wondering what sort of human lurked beneath the golden mask, assuming they had to be part giant or some freak experiment. It never would have occurred to him that a 12-year-old girl was underneath it, at least not until he followed her home after a battle. Adjusting his goggles, Wastelander waited for her to do something, only for his wall to shake, the metal twisting as she pulled it towards her, landing it in her palm. When the metal connected with her palm, it contorted, spinning rapidly until it was a perfect shiny ball in her hand. She tossed the ball towards him, watching Wastelander bounce it in his hands as he attempted to catch it. "You have a complaint?" The voice synthesizer said, giving her a tough, rugged voice that should have been coming out of a burly biker, not a 12-year-old girl. Angelic spite cracked her robotic knuckles, trying to look fierce. And in the past, that action would have made Wastelander shiver, but knowing who was under the mask took away his fears. Instead, he only felt concern for her safety. "What are you doing? Land before you hurt yourself. Seriously, kid." Wastelander grabbed her robotic hand, pulling her to the ground. She could have activated her thrusters and easily broke his hold, yet she didn't. Letting herself get taken to the floor. "I'm not a kid, I'm Angelic Spite. A hero. You're a 12-year-old girl. So, what, I can't be a hero because I'm a girl? You know that's not what I mean." Wastelander groaned, walking through his garage, stopping at his workbench. He didn't have any inventions currently on display, only blueprints, not having the urge to build recently, not since he realized he had been unintentionally attacking someone so young. "The organization delisted me because of you. They didn't know you were a kid?" "Of course not. No one did. That's why it was the perfect disguise. I spent years designing this suit, and you ruined it. I'm gonna..." She crunched her robotic hands, trying to think of something she could threaten him with. "Beat me to death?" Wastelander offered, taking a pre-mixed gin and tonic from his fridge. He wouldn't fight back if she went that route, unable to harm a kid. He was a villain, sure. A thief obsessed with building the best vehicles stolen money could buy, but he wasn't evil. He had standards. Angelic Spite only grew more enraged when she realized she didn't have many options. Attacking a defenseless person went against her beliefs as a hero, and without that, she didn't have much else she could do to the man. His garage was empty, and he didn't have any new projects to pull apart. So she sulked, crossing her arms. "This isn't fair." Wastelander sipped his drink, nodding. "It isn't. Life's not fair, kid. Why not wait until you're an adult? Go be a hero then. Don't rush towards this life. Look where it got me. I started working as a villain when I was 12. Hey, funny that. You did? Why? Why would you want to be evil?" That made him laugh. "Want to be evil? Like he had a choice. Dad's dead and I wish Mom were too. Wasn't a happy childhood. No education, no nothing. I thought stealing would get my mother's attention, get her to at least acknowledge she had a son, and it didn't. When the cops brought me home after they caught me stealing my first car, she tossed me out, didn't even care what I had to say, she just threw me to the streets. Though, it wasn't all bad. If it weren't for that night, I would have never found out I had such a love for stolen vehicles." Angelic Spite even imagine a childhood like that. A parent not loving their child? Weren't those basic human instincts or something? She removed her mask, blonde braids falling out of the helmet, as her blue eyes focused on him. "What happened after you found out you liked stolen cars?" "Well, started stealing I mean crap boxes. You know, cars with stuffed engines, missing rims, stuff like that. I started putting them back together. People didn't care as much when their crap boxes went missing, so soon I had a junk heap filled with old worthless cars. A worthless guy around worthless cars. Fitting, right? Even worthless stuff deserves a second chance, so I built the cars and myself up, obsessed over it, and learned everything there was to know about cars. Then, when I finished learning about cars, I moved to boats, helicopters, planes and so on. But you need money for hobbies like mine, and here we are." She thought about what he said. She had a love for robotics, and her parents happily paid for her to obsess about her hobby. The suit she wore was only possible because of her parents. Had they abandoned her, would she steal to keep making it? Angelic Spite stepped out of her suit, having to shake her leg to kick the metal stilts off, showing that inside the robot was a small 5-foot-tall girl. "I'm sorry. Not your fault. Look, kid. It wasn't personal. I didn't do this to throw you out of the hero game or to make life easier for myself. I just don't want to see you go up against a real psychopath. Guys like me, we have standards, but the others. They'll pull apart your armor and kill you without a second thought. Then what happens? Your parents find out this hobby they've been complimenting you about led to your death? It would kill them." Angelic Spite listened to his words, lowering her head. She wanted to say she would be fine, that she could handle anyone. Though, if Wastelander had found out her identity, how long would it be before someone else did? Someone willing to use that knowledge to ruin her life. "What do I do? Go take an engineering course, be a child prodigy or something." Sugar, I don't know. You built a suit with tantalum-infused plating. Gotta be a place in the world somewhere for you." Angelic Spite tilted her head. You know it's tantalum infused? How? A. Used it in a few of my weapons and vehicles. You start getting a feel for stuff when you're around it long enough. Solid choice. I'm curious though if the metal you infused it with would be good enough to withstand a barrage of heat or weaponry. She smiled, pointing to her idle hero suit that crouched behind her. I think so. I haven't had a chance to test the recent changes I made. Do you still have your electrified Gatling gun? In the storage somewhere. Why? Can we test it? She eagerly asked, bouncing on her toes, making it hard for him to say no. Kid. Look, if you do well at school or university this month, you can come back here and we'll fire some guns at your armor, he said, before raising a finger. Without you inside of it. Angelic Spike beamed, already thinking of some modifications she could make. She never had a chance to test her suits against weaponry. She usually had to wait until she was in the heat of a battle to find out what it could handle. It wasn't like she could keep a Gatling gun hidden in her closet. Deal. I'm Brittany, by the way. Victor. He shook her hand, before pointing to the door, amazed the rest of his garage was still standing. Can you use the door this time? Take another wall out and the garage might collapse on me. She sheepishly stared at the open wall, mumbling a string of apologies. Victor only laughed, opening the door for her. Heroes don't mumble their apologies. Get going, okay? Forget about the wall, I can make a new one. She got into her armor, looking at the door, before her gaze landed again on Victor. Sorry, again. I'll make you a car engine as an apology, she said, flying out the door, her speed sending the door off its hinges, adding to the list of things she had broken. Like I would drive a car with a hero-made engine, he shouted, before muttering a small. Stay safe, kid. Under his breath. He went to shut the door, only to remember it wasn't connected to anything, watching it fall flat on the floor. Guess I should start repairing this place.